Good morning, I'm Farah Jadrin. We've been tracking breaking news overnight and into this morning for a serious crash involving a Washington State Patrol trooper along I-5 and Federal Way. If you joined us on King 5 Weekend Mornings, you know we've been tracking what has become a very active investigation. This is a look at the scene when the crash first happened at about 2:30 a.m. on I-5 southbound. So we'll get to some video in just a moment to show you what things look like when the crash first happened at about 2:30 this morning. It happened on I-5 southbound, south of 320th Street South. You can see troopers arriving on scene, more emergency vehicles coming there as well. They're all responding at that time. Two vehicles appear to have been involved in addition to the State Patrol vehicle. Two cars, a light silver car and a black car, were both seen on the WashDOT cameras near the State Patrol vehicle. Right there you can see an ambulance pulling up to the scene as well. Each of the vehicles appeared to have significant damage. At one point we could see the black vehicle flipped back onto its wheels. We saw at least one person put into an ambulance and taken from the scene. We have confirmed with Federal Way Police that at least one person was injured. We do not yet know who was injured and what the extent of their injuries are at this time. Now, we're going to continue to follow up with police about those injuries. We're also working to confirm what led up to the crash. It's unclear if the State Patrol vehicle was performing a traffic stop at the time of the crash, if that's why that trooper was in that area and off to the side near this HOV lane area. The investigation at the scene stayed active until about 10:30 this morning, meaning investigators were there for about 8 hours total. About 3 lanes of traffic were able to get by southbound and slowly overnight and throughout the morning during the investigation. Now, we did see the black vehicle and the State Patrol vehicle put on 2 tow trucks and drive away shortly before the scene was cleared. Again, that happened just about 30 minutes ago. Federal Way Police is leading this investigation because of the circumstances. Now, per standard policy, an outside agency will take over when a law enforcement officer is involved in an incident. Federal Way Police is that agency for this particular investigation. Their investigators will run point. We're also working to confirm the condition of the state trooper and any other drivers or passengers who were involved in the crash. Again, one person we know is confirmed to have been injured. We don't know the extent of their injuries and how they're doing at this hour. We do have a team heading to Federal Way, and they are going to work to get us more updated information as we work on this throughout the morning. So we want to continue to show you just how much of this scene developed over the night. About 2:30 is when things first happened. You can see other State Patrol vehicles showing up there on scene. We saw at least 2 other vehicles involved. A light silver car and a black car were both seen on the WashDOT cameras near the State Patrol vehicle. Again, this was I-5 southbound, south of South 320th Street. At one point, we could see an angle of this crash from the Highway 18 interchange with I-5 from the WashDOT cameras. Now, each of the vehicles appeared to have significant damage. At one point, we could see the black vehicle flipped back onto its wheels. It was on its side, again, inside of that HOV lane area. We saw at least one person put into that ambulance you see pulling up there on the camera. They were taken from the scene. We have confirmed with Federal Way Police one person was injured in this crash, at least one person from their last check with us a few hours ago. We do not yet know who was injured and how serious their injuries are, so we're unsure if the state trooper was injured or if it was another driver or passenger involved. We're going to continue to follow up with police about those injuries and the circumstances. We're really learning very little about how this happened, what led up to the crash. It's unclear if the State Patrol trooper was performing a traffic stop at the time of the crash, and that's why their vehicle was off to the side in that area. That's still unclear. The investigation at the scene stayed active until about 10:30 this morning. Again, this crash happened at 2:30, so that means investigators were there for a total of 8 hours. About 3 lanes of traffic were still getting by, so if you traveled through that way earlier, you were able to get by, but very slowly in about 3 lanes to the right of where this crash was happening, southbound through Federal Way. The investigation was evolving throughout the morning as we saw more vehicles show up, WashDOT incident teams and investigators. We did see the black vehicle and the State Patrol vehicle put onto tow trucks and drive away. Shortly before that scene was cleared, It was cleared really just about 10:30 this morning or shortly before that. Federal Way Police is leading the investigation because of the circumstances. Per standard policy for law enforcement agencies, an outside agency will take over when a law enforcement officer is involved in an incident, whether that's a shooting or a weapon involved or an accident, a crash. In this case, it's a collision. So Federal Way Police is that agency. Their investigators are going to be running point. We're working to get more information on the condition of everyone involved, whether that's the state trooper, any other drivers or passengers involved in this crash. Again, we do have a King 5 news crew heading to Federal Way to work on getting more information. And as soon as we get those updates, we're going to share those with you. If you were with us on King 5 weekend mornings today, we showed you how things were kind of changing throughout the morning, and we've showed you that video a few times. We could see at least 2 other vehicles involved with a state patrol vehicle. Anytime you see emergency vehicles, it is not just recommended, but it's the law to slow down and move over. We are again working to confirm if a state patrol trooper was conducting a traffic stop at the time of this crash, and that's how those other 2 vehicles became involved. So again, we're working to get that confirmed with you. We've checked in with Federal Way Police a few times, and we're going to work to get more information for you. As we get those updates, you will get them as well. So make sure you have the King 5 app handy, and make sure to watch us tonight. We have our newscast at 6:30 as well, so make sure that you're tuned in to King 5. On your screen right now, you're seeing more of the daytime view of the crash because investigators were there for 8 hours. The crash happened at 2:30 this morning in the southbound lanes of I-5 and Federal Way, south of 320th Street. This area right here, if you're familiar with Federal Way, travel through that area in the northbound lanes. It's right when you're seeing the notifications and the reminders that 317th Street South, your chance to exit there is coming up. So that's right around the area where this crash happened in the HOV lane and the far left lane. In this view that you're getting right there, you can see the state patrol vehicles being led away on a tow truck, and there's also a state patrol vehicle and a law enforcement vehicle that leaves as more of an escort because those vehicles are a part of this investigation. They're evidence to the crash. Again, at least 1 person injured in this crash overnight involving a state patrol vehicle. King 5 is working to get you more information about everyone involved and what will happen next in the investigation.